Welcome to a brand new episode of the British Eventing Show on the EquiRatings Eventing Podcast listeners. Now, on today's show, we are going to be looking at the youth programme in a little bit more detail. We've got a couple of special guests coming up a little bit later on. But first of all, it has recently been the Bates Saddles Arena Eventing Finals, which were held at Aston Walls a couple of weeks ago. And I am delighted to say we are joined by one of our winners of the 90 championship. Sophia Icke, my gentleman Jack, took the title. Now, Sophia, you have actually been on the podcast before, so I am delighted to welcome you back again.
Thank you. No, it's great to be back.
I would say Think Tank Think is a horse that many people will have heard of, and plenty of our listeners to the Grassroots show will have enjoyed an episode all about good old Tank, who holds so many records in grassroots eventing, British eventing. I mean, it's absolute legend. We'll come on to him a little bit later on. But first of all, just give us an insight into your background. Tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, so I guess it all starts when I was put on a pony at about 3 years old by my mum and never really looked back. I started out doing showing and working hunters and then gradually moved up to eventing. We did a lot of pony club eventing, and then people were like, oh, you should do British eventing. And I was like, oh, okay, that sounds very cool, very official. And Tank, I guess, did all of my British eventing career stuff. I did actually have an older horse called Jim who did some amazing things at British eventing as well. The first B100 championships that were ever held were at Aston Walls back in 2006, and he actually won that. So that was really good. Now it's at badminton, isn't it? So if only we'd won it a little bit later, it would have been a bit more prestige. But yeah, so all I do now is eventing. Yeah, Tank is retired now, so I've got Jack, and he's my new project. And we're just, carrying on eventing.
So tell us a little bit about my gentleman Jack.
So he's rising 7. I don't actually know his breeding. He's Irish something or other. He's a big chunky boy. He's the biggest horse I've ever had. So he's quite a lot to handle. He's a bit of a baby, and quite spooky, but he really tries for me. He's got a heart of gold, and he's incredibly handsome and a really quick learner. So I wanted to start eventing with him straight away, and we've found out so far he's really good at dressage. He's very clean show jumping, but he is very scared of cross country.
Okay.
So, he loves it in an arena, but cross country in a field, proper cross country, he's a bit of a baby, and we'll throw in a stop now and then. So, we need to iron that out.
Is it the sort of being out on his own?
It could be.
Does he feel more secure in an arena?
Yeah, I reckon so. It's like because you have to go from field to field, and I think that scares him going to a whole new space each time. And because he's spooky, if he sees something near the jump, he'll spook at that rather than the jump. And sometimes he's been known to not go near the jump because there's it's decorated with some white shaving bales or something, and he'll just run the other way. He'll be like, no, I'm not going near that jump. But yeah, literally going out on his own is scary.
So the Arena Eventing Championships
yes.
This winter, was that a target for you to kind of build that confidence, build that partnership together? Tell us about sort of where you qualified and what the plan was.
Yes, so we like to do lots over the winter, and arena eventing is my favourite thing to do. And we were targeting the championships. We qualified at Aston Walls late winter time, and entered at the beginning of this year, and we saw how many people were in it, and we were like, oh my goodness, there's no chance you can do well here. You've got to be so lucky. But I thought I'd just give it a go, do the best I can. My main objective was to go clear and just have a nice confidence giving round, and he's been there a couple of times now and gone round, and he's gone so beautifully, and he did the same again this time.
For anybody who isn't familiar with the arena eventing format and the Bates Saddle Championships and kind of how it works, just break it down for us. What is expected of you, and what did you have to do to take the title?
There was a round of show jumps, about 8 or 9 show jumps. Obviously, you've got to leave all of those up. And then you lead on straight away into the cross country, which was about sort of 13 fences. It started in the show jumping area and then went out into a cross country area on some amazing menage areas, lovely arenas they have there. And it was a mixture of, there was water, there were ditches, steps, narrow jumps, there were some corners, offset houses. I believe it was timed from the beginning to end of the entire thing, and you just had to just do a nice rhythm, keep all the jumps up. Right at the end there's a joker fence, which I think was 1 meter high in my class, and It's a knockable fence, and you have to leave that up, otherwise you get 6 penalties. And a lot of people were having it down because they'd just done cross country, so their horses were getting a bit tired, a bit long, a bit flat, and so that's why it's the joker fence. But luckily I managed to collect him back up together. And what with him being a clean show jumper, he went, show jump, yes, I will jump this properly. And that's all it entails, really.
It sounds such a nice kind of introduction to anybody who isn't sort of familiar with eventing or is kind of looking to step up to British eventing for the first time, but also actually a really good training exercise and very useful for what is in store over the season ahead. What was the day like as a whole? Aston Walls, you've already touched upon the facilities there are just quite frankly exceptional. Any kind of equestrian's absolute dream. It's just arena after arena after beautiful jump after beautiful jump. It's incredible. Yes. So what was the day like for you? Do you get very nervous in these occasions?
I did get nervous this time, actually. I felt there was a lot of pressure on me because I'd been doing well and I'd been winning things up until this day. I did feel very pressured, but it was an amazing day. Luckily, I was right at the end of the section, so could see how things were panning out. And if I did do well, I didn't have to wait for the results. But I did feel a bit pressured, and there was it was being videoed as well. It was live, so I felt a bit more pressured because people could be watching me, which they were apparently.
I think it was on Horse and Country.
Yes, that's what it was.
Yeah, I think it was on Horse and Country.
It was.
So talk us through your round as a whole, because you sound like actually you managed to really enjoy it as well. Yes. And he obviously relished the challenge. So did you actually get to enjoy it?
I did, yes. I got to about fence 6 on the show jumping, and I don't think I'd taken a breath at that point. And I suddenly realized, no, I need to breathe. So I had a deep breath, and sort of from that point onwards, I just relaxed and really enjoyed the round, especially after the show jumping, when you know the next lot of fences can't be knocked down. You've just got to jump them. So we just had an amazing round. It was really fluent. And I think because I relaxed, he just went that much better. Didn't send any tension down to him, didn't make him think, I've got to be scared here. He just trusted me and just kept going. It was probably one of the best rounds I've ever written, as cliche as that sounds. It just went so well.
It's nice though, because then you get to enjoy those moments as well. It's easy for, sometimes the big occasion to kind of just run away and you don't get to appreciate it. What about Bates Saddle's involvement? Because actually there was a opportunity to go by the clubhouse. I think Ellen Bates was there with the team from Bates Saddles. So you could actually get some advice on saddle fit, care, performance, all that sort of thing. Bailey's horse feeds were there giving nutritional advice. There was more to the day from an educational aspect as well as the championships, wasn't there?
Yes, there was a lot going on there. It was nice to see lots of different people, lots of sponsors, and just everyone coming together. And like you say, the feeds and the saddle, like all the advice. It was just a lovely coming together, and they gave out some amazing prizes as well. I wasn't expecting what we got. They were giving out rugs and all sorts of lovely things, and everyone was just so lovely and welcoming. So it was a really great experience, and just topped it off really.
What's been your biggest takeaway from the arena eventing this winter going into the 2024 season?
I guess it's been just to keep at it. So I've just been training all the time, riding all the time to try and get Jack more confident, and just also to enjoy it more and try and relax. It's very difficult to do that, but the more you relax, the more you enjoy it, the better they go. And it's just sort of, I've been very resilient with it all. And I was thinking always, Jack, going to be an eventer? Is he going to be able to do this? And he's just got better and better, like the more I've worked at it. And so I just think sticking with it and going out as much as possible to these events is good for him to see like the environment, the competition environment, and seeing new things. Yeah, it's just made me sort of really, really excited for the season ahead now.
What is the plan for the season ahead?
The plan is to do as much eventing as I can. I'll probably start out 80 centimeters sort of height, doing some BE eventing, and just basically confidence giving rounds, because he's got the scope to do much higher, up to 100. I don't want to go novice because I'm too scared, but I just want to go eventing and just get around these cross country courses, and just try and show him that there's nothing to be scared of. And he can do it. And I know he can do it. And I'm hoping he's going to be something special for the future.
Sometimes the patience and everything that and the hard work that you put in over the winter, you really hope actually when the season comes, he's a little bit older, a little bit more mature, and he'll realize that not everything is out to get him, and that it can be fun. And the next thing you know, he'll be tugging your arms out and you'll be thinking, hang on a second, matey, come back here.
That's the plan.
Fingers crossed. I have to ask you, we touched upon him at the start of the show. Think, Tank, Think. Now, listeners, you've not heard of Tank. Let me just refresh your memory. So Rosie did a brilliant show on the Grassroots podcast with Sophia, and kind of looking back on some of his incredible records, because he has been one of the most consistent grassroots horses on British soil going back to 2013 I think we've ever seen. On the BE Stats Centre, there are 8 different categories at 100 level and below. So runs, wins, cross-country time, clears, cross-country jumping clears, highest show jumping clears, number of FODs, lowest dressage score, lowest finishing score. And Tank holds 5 of the 8 records. 146 runs, went inside the time on 115 of them, jumped clear cross country on 136 of them, 99 show jumping clear rounds, and finished on his dressage score a massive 84 times. I mean, he is just an absolute legend. He was an ex-racehorse, Sophia, and he is now enjoying a very well-earned retirement. How is he?
Yes. Oh, he's really well. He still looks great, bless him. He's enjoying his retirement, which he so deserves. And he just does a bit of light hacking now with my mum. And I ride Jack and we go on some hacks together. And that's what mum's always wanted to do. And now she has her perfect hacking horse and he just loves it. He goes out in the field, he eats the grass, he comes in, he has his dinner. Sometimes he goes out for a hack and rinse and repeat. He's very happy. And I can't believe he's just taken to it so well.
He's 23 now, isn't he?
Yes, he's 23 this year. Yeah, it was his birthday last month. He turned 23.
He honestly has had the most incredible career. We'll link that show in the show notes, listeners. So if you want to go back and listen to it, it is well worth a look back. I would just say before we wrap this up, because the B80 Championships was won by Rosabella Harrison, Captain Move, and the 100s by Ellie Nicholson and MIH Top Gun as well. So huge congratulations to both Ellie and Rosabella, who did an incredible job to take their titles as well. Sophia, good luck for this season. Fingers crossed Jack has got the memo that actually real eventing is as fun as arena eventing. Yeah. And fingers crossed it all goes well for you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Now, the second half of the show, listeners, is focused all about the regional youth programme. And I am very pleased to welcome Wendy Berry to the show to give us a bit of an insight into actually what the youth programme looks like, what the setup is, who can get involved. And then we're actually going to go on to talk about the National Youth Forum as well. And we've got a lovely guest coming on later on in the show, Abi Stuart. So we'll hear from her a little bit later on. But first of all, Wendy, welcome to the podcast. I think the first thing that should be said is the youth programme is not new. This has been in place and been highly successful for many, many years. And I think it's one of those things that actually we just want to kind of build some awareness about and understand actually a bit more about it, who's open to being involved in it and everything else. So how long has the programme been in place?
I want to say it's been going 30 years, Nicole. The likes of Tina Cook came through the programme. Gemma Tattersall came through the programme. So there's a whole raft of riders. I think Laura came through the programme. I can remember seeing her name on the trophy. I think Tom Jackson's name might be on the trophy that comes with the championship. So, yeah, it's been going around a good few years.
And it is all about encouraging and supporting young people in the sport, isn't it? So give us a bit of an overview of actually how it is set up, because split down into regions, and then actually each region has its own committee and team of coaches as such. But it's important to recognise at this point that you and your fellow regional coordinators are all volunteers.
Yeah, exactly. There's 8 of us around the country, and we all do it because we love working with children and giving something back to the sport. So there's 8 of us around the regions, of me, the coordinators, and working with us as coordinators, we have a team of coaches, and we deliver a programme really regionally centric to the youth. So anyone from the age of 12 is welcome to join, up to the age of, we really stop at 18 at the moment. And then they feed into the under 21 system. But we work very closely with the performance side as well. So a lot of the pony riders and the junior riders will all have started coming to training and to competitions with us in the under 18s in the regions. So those aspiring eventers that are looking at the juniors of today, like Izzy and Barney and Anna Price, they all came up through the programme as well very recently. And then within the region, we have a competition structure as well. So we have regional under 18 competitions. We each have 6 over the year at each level. And on those competitions, we'll have a youth support group there. So I will be there normally meeting and greeting people after the dressage. And then at selected ones within the region, I'll have a coach there. My peers will also have coaches at theirs, where we'll be doing course walks and support within the collecting ring. So really giving a little bit of a holistic look to an event, an under 18 competition.
It's amazing, isn't it? Because we talk about actually the transition into British eventing, and it can sometimes feel quite overwhelming, especially if maybe your parents aren't particularly horsey or haven't got a huge amount of experience or knowledge in the sport. And actually, this is a way of really including people, making them feel supported, being part of the eventing community if they aren't perhaps the most confident at what they're going to encounter. But likewise, those people actually who do have a huge amount of knowledge, is a support network ultimately, isn't it?
Yes, of course. We are very happy with everybody, from the 80 competitions when we'll have people coming out on their first, the 12-year-olds may be coming out on the 80s, or equally, someone that hasn't been able to have a pony when they were younger and has got one when they're 15, 16 and just starting out at BE. Might not have the bigger knowledge base, and then they'll come to our competitions and meet us, and equally they'll come to training within region. We do a lot of training at that level. We've just, in February, I think we had over 60 under 18s coming training just in the southeast, and I know all my counterparts around the regions have had similar numbers going out. And then we've all got Easter camps running. They're open to all. There is a price to join the youth program, which is £30, but the actual training is open to everybody. It's just that they will pay a slight premium by coming on it. If you're a non-youth program member, you are still very welcome to come to training. You will just pay a slightly bit more money.
Do you still have to be a youth?
Yes, you still have to be under 18.
Okay, you still have to be under 18. There you go. Just checking that. Otherwise, I could see people all over the country being like, this sounds like my idea of heaven. Sign me up. The training side of things is a really important one. And listeners, when you look through the list of coaches that are involved in the programme, you have got a whole host of different riders that have got 5-star experience. Phil Brown, Dag Albert is on there, Sam York, Sue Chadwick, Mark Corbett, Camilla Kruger, who's obviously ridden for Zimbabwe at the very highest level. There is just a huge number of brilliant people who actually want to impart their knowledge on the next generation as well. And I think it's important to recognise it at this stage, Wendy, that actually the training is a great kind of stepping stone as well, but to kind of make the jump into affiliated competition. But also if you're looking to kind of maybe step up a level and get some additional support, that actually that can really help. It's a really kind of guided process.
Yeah, indeed. And I mean, not only that, Nicole, it's the community, the new friends that they meet when they come to training, because often they'll come and they won't know other people in their group. And, in the world of Instagram at the moment, as we know, a lot of friends are made over Instagram, and they'll arrange to meet, or they'll arrange to come to the same training day, and then they'll meet in real life. And, and that's how all the friendships start, and the community. Along with the education, obviously, but there is a huge element of fun. We recognise that a lot of these kids are under pressure at school all the time, and to be able to come and have fun in a field and learn at the same time, and give them the confidence to go on and compete. For some, it might be their first competition. For others, as you say, it might be the step up to go novice. And that's really what the basis of the whole programme is this community, this education, and ending up in a lovely competition structure to support those two other elements.
So stick with the training for a second. You say you can obviously be part of the youth membership, and that's £30, or you can pay a slight premium and go anyway. Where can you access this training? Where can you find out more about it? Where the events are in your area?
Yeah, so it's easy. Just pop on the British Eventing website, and on one of the click down boxes, you'll see youth training. I think it's on the far right hand side on the dot under training. I think it says youth program training. And just click on there, and all the training courses should come up in your area or all over. And it's important, you can go training wherever. You don't need to go, if you just think, I live in, Reading, I can't go to a training in Wiltshire. Yes, you can. You're very welcome to train in whatever area you like, wherever your friends are, or whatever suits your needs.
And what about the competition structure? How does that fit in?
So the competition structure, we run for the hundreds and the novices, we run a programme from July the 1st through to June 30th every year, which culminates in a championship up at Bishop Burton at the end of July. And for our 80s and 90s, the competition starts on the 1st of August each year and runs down to the 31st of July and culminates in a championship at Chillington in, I think it's the second week in September this year, 14th, 15th. So those are the two things. And within that year period, that's where you'll see under 18 classes. And so people can go and compete in the under 18 classes. We run a league system this year. So 3 results in an under 18 class puts you in the league. There's a few other criteria. They need to do 1 in region, and 2 of the competitions need to be in the calendar year of the championship. But then that gives them onto the league, and we take the top 10 from each of the league up to the championships.
Is there a team element to it as well?
So that's the team element. The top 10 are the team, but there's also access at the championships for individuals to attend as well. So the Bishop Burton very kindly run a 105 championship for the individuals, and there's a 2-star for the under 21s actually. So even the kids that have outgrown the under 18s, a lot of them will come back and come and do the individual competition, because that's open to the 21s and unders.
There's a bit of something for everybody, and actually not only as a team, because I think that community aspect in making friends and kind of getting to know other people that might be at similar competitions, similar training, things like that, is a really, really nice angle to this, because you make friends for life. Am I right in thinking there's even been a wedding?
Oh, I think there's been 2 weddings, not in my time, but I believe that there have. Yeah, Sophie Genman, I think, is one, and I can't remember who the other one is. But that's just in the southeast. I'm sure there's been some other elsewhere.
It's just nice, isn't it, to see that kind of community aspect coming through. And
I think that's one of the areas that we're all probably the most proud of, is that the community and the friendships that are made through the programme are just immense, and they do seem to last forever. It's lovely. And from our point of view, when they grow up and they still come back to see us and they give us a hug and they just tell us what's going on. It's so lovely for us to actually see these people progress into adult life and growing up and then going to compete at badminton, as I'm sure my Eastern counterparts have seen. I think Bubby was there last year at badminton, wasn't she? And she came through the programme. And Alice Casburn as well.
Alice Casburn would be, Alice could technically, I think she can technically still be part of the programme if she's under 21. Because she has achieved a ridiculous amount for somebody so young, listeners.
The whole thing around is the inclusion. We want everybody to feel involved, and the championships are there for everybody. You can come as an individual.
So just to recap, there are sort of a couple of strings to the bow here. There is very much the training side of things, which is open to everybody and is a real opportunity for people to train with very experienced coaches who know the sport, can offer guidance and kind of help in whatever direction that they're looking to go. Is that very much every discipline? Does each area have, jumping, dressage, cross country specific?
Yes, we cover all 3 disciplines.
That's amazing. And in terms of the competition structure, anybody can enter. They don't have to necessarily. Do they have to register for the league? Do they have to be member?
They have to be a member of the youth programme to compete in the under-18 competitions. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So, listeners, if you're listening to this and thinking that sounds just up my street, go to the British Eventing website, go and find the youth page. You can look at all the training that might be in your area. And I'm sure, Wendy, if they are in an area and they're not entirely sure where to start, that actually if they reach out to any one of you guys, you can point them in the right direction.
Indeed, all of our details are also on the website as well. So if you're not sure what area, you contact one of us and we will point you in the right direction. But I think if you go under youth programme and click on the regional button, then we all come up with our phone numbers and our emails.
Perfect. And you will actually be at different events as well. So you can kind of see people in the spirit of competition also. So if you're at an event and you think, we haven't entered the under 18s because you didn't realize that it was sort of applicable for you, you thought maybe it was a performance pathway, that actually people can come up, have a chat and think, how can I get involved in this?
Yes, exactly. They must always come and talk to us. We are always around. The coaches will always help the kids. If ever they're in a collecting ring, we are always happy to help all the youth in British eventing.
It is an amazing programme. And I think it's one of those things that actually we don't talk about it enough. We sort of take it for granted that this programme has done such a good job for so many years. And actually, it doesn't always get the airtime it deserves. Wendy, thank you for all of your hard work and everybody on your team's hard work in getting involved in this. And actually, it's an exciting time. If you are 12 and over, 12 to 18 listeners in British eventing, now is your chance. Go and take advantage of it because you won't want to miss out. And to be honest, I mean, I'm 33 now, but I wish I could still do it. Wendy, gutted, I'm too old.
Oh, I've been really happy to share the best kept secret of British eventing.
Best kept secret of British eventing. There we go. Wendy, thank you so much. Now let's turn our attentions to another important side of the youth aspect of British eventing. One of the exciting new innovations in British eventing this year has got to be the inaugural National Youth Forum, which is made up of, I think there's about 15 different people on the Youth Forum, all aged between 12 to 21 from all parts of the country. And they're going to be working with BE to help kind of shape the future of eventing in Great Britain and kind of have the young person's voice, so to speak. And I am very, very pleased that we have one of those members with us. Abi Stuart, welcome to the show.
Hi, Nicole. Thank you very much for having me.
It is our absolute pleasure, Abi. I'm looking forward to hearing a bit more about your story and sort of what inspired you to join the Youth Forum. But first of all, give us a bit of an insight into your background. And you're based down in Cornwall, is that right? So
yes.
Where did your love of horses come from and how did the journey start for you?
So I started in Pony Club from a very young age. My mum has always been very horsey, but is slightly terrified of jumping. So she definitely has no eventing experience. But I grew up going to badminton every year. And I don't really remember making the decision that I wanted to go into eventing. I don't think the other disciplines even crossed my mind. If cross country wasn't involved, then I didn't want to do it. So I got to the age of being able to do one-day events. And I probably did about 4 years doing unaffiliated and Pony Club, just because at the time in Cornwall, there were very few people who were doing BE that were my age. So it just never really crossed our minds to do it. But then I got to probably about 14 and I saw that someone on social media had done a BE on a ticket and I had no idea that you could do this. So I remember so vividly the conversation because it was such a big thing to me. But I went up to my mum and said to her, you can do BE on a ticket. Is there any way we could do this? And she immediately said no, shut down the idea. And she said, one, it was too expensive and that my dressage wasn't good enough. So that was sort of the end of that. But I was quite committed. So I went away and created a full plan. I trawled through the BE website and came back to them with all the ways that we can make it work. And they did end up agreeing to letting me and my sister do our local BE, which is Launceston. And yeah, it definitely wasn't the fairy tale start to my eventing career, because I did end up getting eliminated in the BE80, but ended up starting again the following year with my first horse, who I still have now. And yeah, we've just sort of been learning on the fly from there, because as I said, my parents have no eventing experience, but it's been a very fun journey so far.
I love this, listeners. The bit that I took from that was if your parents say no to something, go away, come up with a business plan and represent it to them, and they'll make it happen. How did you find the jump from Pony Club to British Eventing?
I think coming from Pony Club, we thought it would be a massive jump. And I think that's why it took so long for my parents to agree. But you're competing at the same level. I think that's what people need to realise. And the atmosphere at BE is just amazing. I mean, even when I did badly at my first event, I was just so happy to be there. And I think, yeah, if you can do Pony Club, then you can do BE.
It's really nice to hear that actually it wasn't a big jump, because I think sometimes it can feel like quite a big step, but in actual fact, everybody is so welcoming and so friendly, and it's kind of a natural progression. I know British Eventing and the Pony Club have been working really, really hard and kind of brought the partnership about. I think there's a 40% discount on Pony Club new members. So it's well worth an introduction to British Eventing from it. And it's nice to know it's not as intimidating and as scary as it might feel. So the National Youth Forum then, what sort of inspired you to kind of put yourself forward to have a say?
Yeah, so I think in youth eventing, there's quite a lot of people that do it are from big eventing families. And I wanted to join to be able to sort of target more of the people that were like I was, who were coming from a much smaller background, and yeah, just trying to show them how accessible the sport can be and the opportunities that there is within youth eventing.
I love that, because actually it is all about accessibility and it's about having a voice. How important is it for young people in British eventing to have that voice and actually to be able to put across what you guys feel on the ground competing?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. And I think a lot of people, when we're at events, if they have a query or something, they might not want to go to a BE official, because that can be quite intimidating. But for them to be able to come to us and then we can pass it over, I think it's just great to, widen the pool of conversation.
So people are able to kind of put their questions and their opinions across to the National Youth Forum, and then that's for you guys to kind of discuss and take further. Is that how it's going to work to a degree?
Yes, I think so. And also we'll be, just seeing our experiences and what we think that we can add to the youth series.
What do you think actually we can do to help encourage more young people to kind of make the jump into British eventing?
In the last meeting that we had, this was something we were talking about. And I think there was the idea that we could send a BE rep to like the Pony Club Championships and Pony Club areas, to just so there's someone for them to talk to. Because I think a lot of people who don't have experience in BE, going onto the website, it can be very daunting and be difficult to see where to start. So if you can just go and talk to someone and see that they're an actual person, I think it will make it a lot more accessible.
It's almost like that, certainly this is probably something that you talk about more as you get older. I'm showing my age now, but like that imposter syndrome of actually, can I do that? Should I be doing that? But actually everybody can do it. And, it's accessible for everybody. Everybody is welcome. And there is such a lovely community behind it as well. What are your goals for this year in terms of personally competing? What's the plan for 2024?
So last year I ended up buying a little 6-year-old who has turned out to be rather exciting. And I definitely like to qualify her for badminton this year, if possible, in the 100 championships. I did originally want to try and campaign for the under 18 champs. However, I managed to get tickets for Paris Olympics, which just happened to be on the same day as the championship. So I've got a bit of a decision to make there. But yeah.
I would say, I mean, if you don't want to go to Paris, Abby, I will happily take the tickets.
No,
I would say, I mean, it's one of those things, isn't it? Paris Olympic Games, kind of a once in a lifetime.
Yeah, exactly.
You could be forgiven for that, definitely.
Yeah, and I think at Bishop Burton, where they hold the under-18 champs, they've also added under-21 classes. So that does give me the opportunity, because I haven't been before. So it gives me the opportunity to hopefully go in the future.
Okay, so you're 17 this year, is that right?
I'm 17 now, 18 this year. So this would be my last year.
Okay, so you're just about to turn 18. So you've got another 3 possible opportunities to go to Bishop Burton. Paris won't be happening next year. I do understand that. Have there been any challenges for you since joining British Eventing in terms of kind of your personal journey? Because I think one of the things that actually is really important is actually people talking about things when they don't go to plan, because that actually makes everybody else feel much better, because they might be coming up against something similar. So has anything not quite gone your way?
Definitely. My journey in British Eventing definitely hasn't been straightforward. My first horse I got, he's rather difficult, likes to keep me on my toes. So the first season was probably a lot more bad days than good. And then he had an injury. So he was out for a year. And I had a massive confidence knock in that time. I had a few nasty falls off of him. And I wanted to give up. I didn't want to do the sport anymore. But my sister had qualified for badminton. This was 2023. And I think just going and getting to be behind the scenes and seeing everything, I was like, you know what, I could do this, because all these people, they're just like me, everyone that's competing here. And yeah, it just sort of gave me something to aim for again. And I mean, now I've got Martha, who's my little 6-year-old, and for the first time, I'm kind of thinking, oh, maybe I will go above 100. It's yeah. And I'm definitely not going anywhere now. So
it's a slippery slope, Abby. Once you start thinking, oh, I might just do this, and then I might just do the next thing, it'll be an international. You'll get your tails on and off you go. It's really interesting, actually, that you say going to badminton, to the Grassroots, kind of lit your fire again slightly, because I think it's one of those things that actually is a little bit underrated. You know, whether it be badminton Grassroots, whether it be the NAF B80 championships at Bramham or something like that, but actually going and watching and enjoying, or even just going to your local BE event if you're not actually affiliated yet, going and actually watching people and kind of getting used to it and feeling like it is people just like you and I that can do this.
Yeah, I mean, before I started eventing, I used to have this coach who also coached people that did BE, and I would just beg her, like every time that there was an event in Cornwall, I would just get her to take me with her just to go and see it all and just get to be in the atmosphere, because it's so cool.
What would be your biggest piece of advice for any young person listening to this that would like to kind of make the first steps into BE or make the jump from Pony Club or anything like that?
I think talk to people, because if you know someone that does it, they'll be more than happy to, explain it. It can seem a lot more confusing than it is. And realistically, if you're doing Pony Club, you can do it. So I think, the whole eventing community is obviously very nice and happy to help. So and also get other people to help you convince your parents if possible.
Write the business plan. That's
I mean, now we move out of our house every summer and stay in the lorry and caravans to rent it out. But so I'm not saying you need to do that, but there's ways to do it.
Where there is a will, there is a way. That is the target. Abby, thank you so much. Best of luck this year. Fingers crossed that your qualification plans all go swimmingly, and we'll see you hopefully at Badminton 2025. I had to think of the year then. But I hope that the National Youth Forum all goes well. And I think it's a really exciting step for young people to have a voice in the sport. And there's always so many different people with different opinions and looking at it from different angles. And each of those is just as important. And it's a case of kind of fitting all the jigsaw pieces together. And the young people are a massive, massive part of that as well. So thank you for volunteering. Thank you for all the work that you do. And we'll look forward to watching your progress in the future.
Thank you.